What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, saints and inks, and welcome to Lactic Acid. I'm your host, Dominique Smith, and today I have a certified baller shop caller. She is the Eliza Thornberry of running because she is well traveled, the master of all trades, and listen, she balls out at every single one of them. From coast to coast, she balls out on the running course and off the running course. Maia Ramsden is my guest of honor. Maya, what's good, sister? How you doing? Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Listen, I had that greatness on the show. It's so crazy. And we'll get to this in a second. Maya was at the Bowerman, and I guess I'm not gonna lead in with this question, but I live in Orlando. Lived here all 30 years. Where was that water slide at?
That
Was it
was
at the resort?
it was at the resort. It was crazy.
What?
I I was not prepared.
What?
It was just sitting there like in the middle, like all of the rooms sort of looked out onto that water feature situation.
I'm not. I thought you went to Universal.
Yeah. I let me tell you, I had like we had such a packed schedule, but I was like the one thing I'm making time for is getting myself on that slide.
Oh
So
my.
it was like the last day I got to go on.
So, basically what we're talking about, the Bowerman Awards were in Orlando as well as the USATFCC. I screwed that up. Y'all, please don't kill me for that. There's a lot of vowels and syllables and things in that. It's for all the coaches and all them people. They had their convention.
All the coaches.
And all the coaches from every from e- from every level of running, which was amazing to see. We're all in the bar and on one table. You're sitting at a table with Will Palmer and then one of the legendary coaches in NAIA and JUCO. So it's like, dang, I'm like, dang, this is crazy. But anyway, I did not know that there was a slide, a water slide. And maybe because I just went at night, so I didn't see it.
Yeah.
But I saw the picture, like, where was this? This looks amazing. And then it was like 80 degrees or something in December when it went down or it
Yep.
cooled down that night. So it was perfect.
Yeah, it was really warm. I had a workout the morning before the like award ceremony and it was hot. I was coming from Colorado. I was like, I'm ready for some warmer weather. I can wear shorts. No, I was like dripping in sweat. I just forgot what it's like to work out in that in that weather.
It's different. You think like, oh, this is heaven. This is 75, sunny, and all that stuff. No, I went for a run today and I thought I was going to die. I'm like,
Yep.
bro, like it was, and it's so bipolar here. One minute it's in the 40s, like it was snowing in parts of Florida, a good chunk of like northern and even central Florida. It was snowing just a couple weeks ago, and then it was 80. We're gonna be almost at 90 degrees, like
Oh.
coming up. I was like, Lord, that's not funny, man. That's not funny. I'm tired. The brother tired. I don't want summer just yet. We get it 8 months out of the year. But before I start crying, you have displayed a level of awesomeness that nobody can relate to. And because of that, they're going to, and they're like the good people of the world, came together and said, we got to celebrate her awesomeness because we suck. She's awesome. We need to get a piece of this awesomeness. And so, what they're going to do for you, they're going to do three things. The one thing they're going to do when you do something successful, they put you on a Wheaties box, right? So they're like, okay, she's a little bit bigger than Wheaties unless she wants to be on a Wheaties box, but you get to pick the cereal box that you get a chance to be featured on. Not only that, you get a chance to pick the beverage that you're featured on. So it could be Coca-Cola, it could be Pepsi, it could be what's that nasty water? Um, Aquafina or whatever if you want to if you want to revive that or Dasani, God bless y'all. Sponsor lactic acid. I'll drink the water. Whatever, you get the chance to be on those two. So those are the two things. I guess the third thing would be You get a gourmet meal prepared for you from anywhere, anytime, on any day. You call them up. Have you seen the movie Spy Kids? I know it's like back in the
Yeah,
day.
I love Spy
Okay.
Kids.
Do you remember on Spy Kids when they just opened up like a wallet and then I don't know, they pressed the McDonald's thing and then in the microwave was like a Big
Mm.
Mac fries and it's gonna
Hmm.
be something like that. You get a chance to do something like that, but it's any meal you want to. All you got to do is click it, and then it's going to be a picture of your face. And when you click your face, basically, you know the meal that you want is coming through. So I need the beverage bottle, the cereal box, and the meal.
Okay, the first two are easier. The cereal has to be Wheat Bix. Can't really find it here, but my parents sometimes bring it. They brought it to me. Like they came to see me race in college twice, and they brought it home, or brought it from home. It's pretty popular at home. In other parts of the world, it might be called Wheat Bix with a little A in there, but mostly it's just Wheat Bix. Mostly rugby players are on the box at home, but there's some other athletes on, so it's like it's not unheard of. There's always athletes on the box. They sponsor a triathlon series that I did as a kid.
Okay.
And that was I ate Weet-Bix for breakfast every day until I left for college. So pretty much like 18 years of my life, it was a bowl of Weet-Bix, milk, some banana, maybe like honey or a sweet cereal on top. So has to be Weet-Bix for that. I think water or drink wise, I'm loving the Spindrift seltzer sparkling water thing in grapefruit flavor. And the can is like quite a pretty pink. So that's my go-to. That'll be what I'll be on. The meal one is so hard. I don't know. I'm deciding. Okay, can I give two? Can I say what I'm deciding between?
You know what? You sure can. You sure can. Give me two.
Okay, so if it's cold out or like just on a big workout or something like that, it would just be a burger. Like a really good like burger. Nice freshly made bun, like good butcher meat, cheese, lettuce, tomato, whatever, the normal burger toppings, a good burger sauce. And then if it was hot or I needed something else, sushi.
Mm, two different things. Okay.
Very different. I was trying to find a way to combine them and I couldn't.
I wish that you went to Universal when you were down here because that City Walk is one of my favorite places in the world, and it's gonna gross people out when I tell. I've
Okay.
never had sushi before. I need my fish cooked. I need my fish cooked. I'm sorry, I can't do raw fish. I'm out here eating Nemo, and he's not even sautéed yet, so that's a problem for me. I just need it cooked. One day, I don't know. Somebody actually did talk me into shrimp tempura roll, so we may get
It's cooked.
there. Um, fried preferably, but I can run it off the next day. Um, but there's a place called Cowfish,
Okay.
and they specialize in milkshakes, burgers, and sushi. And
That's my dream.
it is so I was for my birthday. I think it was my 21st birthday, maybe. Oh my gosh, I thought I was gonna die.
Yeah, that is like I think I could live the rest of my days just eating alternating sushi, burger, sushi. Not together, but like day off.
They've probably come up with the sushi burger.
I honestly I don't know if I can do that. I might have to leave that one to the imagination.
Yeah, I don't want to imagine that. Like
No.
that sounds, oh my gosh, my toilet's about to do a 4x8 if I
Yeah.
ever like ate that. And we don't know. That's horrible. But no, it's they sell the best. They're not the best I've ever had, but I was like, this is extremely high quality,
Yeah.
more than I can imagine. Are you like an all-American burger or are you like one of these gourmet burger kind of people?
What's an all-American burger?
It's just the basic, you got your patty, lettuce, tomato, cheese, ketchup, mustard.
I honestly I like them all. I like we had Shake Shack the other day after the race. That's
Mm.
great. And I like a nice restaurant burger. Like
Hmm.
I like them both. Yeah, I'm a big fan.
What's the best burger you've ever had?
I don't know. I don't know if I can think of like the best burger I've ever had, but whenever I'm home, I'll have a really good one with my family. Like someone will pick up mince from the butcher and we'll get like, I don't know, like blue cheese or something to put on top and like just do
Blue
it on the,
cheese.
yeah, it's so good. And do it on the barbecue outside. Like that's probably like some of the best memories, like those sorts of, but I don't know what the best burger I've had recently is. I'm gonna have to think on that.
We're gonna get to that at the end. Um, because I'm thinking there was a place here that closed down. It's called Fuddruckers.
Okay.
Maya, oh my gosh. When I tell you that burger set me free when I would eat it and everything, that was the best. I'll tell you this. Shake Shack, I've been to Shake Shack, and Shake Shack pisses me off because it costs too much. It's really
Yeah.
good. But
For
why?
fast food, it is ridiculous. Yeah.
It is crazy,
It's
but
not as bad
no.
as Five Guys, but it's
I
not
was
great.
about to say that Five Guys is the best outside of Fuddruckers or what I make because I make a mean hamburger. Um, that I've had, but oh my gosh, y'all tripping at Five
Yeah.
Guys. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
I'm just like, I can't even think about this in the same space as like McDonald's. Like it's like you're going to a restaurant, the price you're paying there, but it's worth it. It's pretty good.
McDonald's, which is expensive now too. Um, it's like one of those places like I got midterms, man. I'm stressed. My life hurts. Like, let me just go get a couple like those cheap, I don't know what kind of meat it is, hamburgers and call it a day.
We didn't even have one close to my dorm, so but we had the Boston chain Tasty Burger, so I'm a big
Okay.
Tasty Burger girl.
I've heard of that.
That was my go-to. Like after a workout, I didn't want to go to the dining hall.
Because dining halls can be overrated after a workout.
Yeah.
But the food, now listen, if you want a meal plan, you better eat at the dining hall. But
Yeah.
essentially, but sometimes you just need something else.
Or it closes. Like late night workout, we're not done till 8 o'clock. That you're gonna get there and the food's gonna be gone or packing up. So
Oh man. Let me um what is this the drink again? I'm not even gonna
Spindrift.
Spindrift. Okay, I have heard of that. I guess I guess it's something people like because I
Yeah.
have heard of Spindrift before.
People like their different ones like LaCroix or the Waterloo ones are really popular right now, but Spindrift is my fave.
I am not a LaCroix fan. I don't know why, but it just doesn't no. Like I wanted to. I prayed about it, but I was like, I can't do it. But I will tell you this. There is I need to try Spindrift, and I will try Spindrift.
Yeah.
There's a place up there's a place. There's brand or drink called Ice.
Okay.
I'm telling you, first of all, I let me just say this. There's some stuff in it that's probably not great,
Yeah.
even though it says it is, but I'm sure, listen, I think they put chemicals in water,
Yeah.
basically, and stuff. But oh, it is, they have a Starburst flavored ice.
Whoa.
And I refuse to try it, even though I'm tempted to, but it's just like the best naturally flavored tasting
Huh.
sparkling water. And it's $1. It
I'm
hits
gonna
on the
look
hot
for
plate.
it.
I'm telling you, it's different. It is the best thing I've ever tasted in my 30 years of existence. If I make it to 31, I'll test that theory, but it's it is so good. Um, let me know if you try it.
I will. Yeah. I'll be on the lookout. I do love a sparkling water.
So listen, we'll have to see. But what else is so good is how good you are when it comes to this running. Um, I do you did have you were in a loaded field the past couple weekends, and you held your own. That's the thing. You was out there. Yeah, you don't need to shake your head. You did. You did. And everything like that. Before a rookie, just to be able to throw your hat in the ring, get that experience, and actually do pretty good. Like, listen, she's stepping different. She's stepping like a woodpecker with a headache. What was this? What has the season been like for you so far?
Yeah, not, I mean, we're two races in, right? So it's like, it's not everything I've dreamed of yet. Um, I think I ran it, yeah, New Balance Grand Prix in Boston, which was fun to kind of catch up with the Boston people. And then at Melrose for a second time this past weekend. Um, and yeah, it's interesting. It's like I was just saying to someone, I think I thought training is like the best it's ever been, right? Like I'm training harder than I ever have. The workouts are going better than they've ever gone. Um, and so I'm sitting here being like, wow, I'm gonna have this most amazing season opener. Like it's gonna be crazy. Like I'm so ready. And then I had a terrible season opener. Like really one of my worst executed races in the past couple of years. And I don't really know what happened. Like I just think sometimes you're not quite mentally prepared for how hard racing is gonna be. So that's fine. Then I spent the week trying to regroup and got it together a little bit again at Melrose. Melrose is such a fun meet. Like I was lucky enough to experience it last year as the college kid in the field, and it was like one of the craziest, most awesome weekends of my life. And so coming back as a pro, I was like, okay, I've done it before. Um, I don't know. I was a little passive in the race. I think I sort of talked to my coaches about my goals, and I was like, I just want to leave the race and step off the track thinking, okay, I tried, but I tried to win, and I didn't step off the track feeling that way. I was like, okay, I ran the race. So you can't achieve all your goals at once. That's the goal for the next one. But yeah, Milrose is a big step forward from the weekend before, so I'm happy for that. And hopefully go a little faster in a few weeks.
It's and I'm curious because the transition from college to pros, first of all, I if you listen to Track Talk coming later this week, it's a YouTube series that I do. I'm going to talk about how long the season is because it is a long season.
So long.
Earth, Wind, and Fire has a song that says, "Do you remember the 21st night of September?" And it is literally the 21st night of September that the track and field season ends this year, in September 21st. I shouldn't be singing that like that and covering track and field at the same time. But you're obviously making the transition from college to the pros. And then college is different because, some colleges start racing in December. And then you also have
Mhm.
cross country season, kind of to, get you in the swing of things. How much is it more mental than it is, I have to physically adjust, but more so, I just kind of have to mentally find my groove, especially in a new setting, especially
Mm.
being a professional compared to being in college.
I mean, I think it goes back and forth, right? But for me right now, I'm gonna throw out the number 95% mental. Like I know I'm in the like best shape, or I'm where I'm meant to be. Like, am I as sharp as I was like at the end of the indoor season last year? Like going into outdoor NCAA's, probably not, but that's fine. Like I don't want to be that sharp yet because, as you said, I want to be ready in the middle of September.
Yeah.
But by and large, like I've done more volume than I ever have, and the workouts are feeling good. So it's just like that's the frustrating part. It's in some ways the physical piece is a lot easier to fix than the mental one. Um, but I think for me right now, like I did have the opportunity to step on a lot of these professional start lines last year, even while I was in college. But I raced like pretty much every weekend last in 2024 from sort of the end of January until the end of July. Like not actually, but I raced like almost 30 times. Um,
Lord
and
have mercy.
so it was like, I think that's counting heats, although I'm not like counting the rounds, but it wasn't quite 30. I didn't hit that number. Thank goodness, honestly, like that would have been, that would have
That
been
was
too many.
crazy.
But it would have been crazy. Yeah, but I just think that gets you like you were almost desensitized to racing at that point last year, where I was like, I was just ready to go. Like I knew my race routine, I knew the sort of pre-race, I knew the nerves and all of that. And then But with that being said, I also think last year I was very much just in the race. I was like running the race. I wasn't necessarily competing in the race in the professional fields. In college, for sure, I was competing. Every time I stepped on that line, I was like trying to win. But I think when I had these opportunities, like at Milrose or LA Grand Prix or these other professional races, I was just sort of like, oh, I'm the collegiate. I just have to hold on and I'll get a PB. Um, but of course, what happens is your PBs get faster, and then you got to do more to break them again. And also, I think I've taken a jump in fitness and speed. So it's like I want to be able to just race and compete at the level of these other people in my race and these other athletes. And my brain like knows that I can, but it's another thing to put that into practice when the gun goes. So that's what I'm working on right now. That mental piece of like trying to get to the front of the race, um, trying to be like competitive with yeah with the people that are crossing the line first.
Like be competitive, but at the same time, like trust the process in a
Yeah,
sense.
yeah. Well, and like, and I do. I really I have complete faith that come sort of the middle of the summer, um, I'm gonna be ready to go and like run really fast and do really well. But I also don't want the limit right now to be the one I'm putting on it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
if it's my physical limit, that's one thing. But right now, it's my mental one, and like that's no good for anybody. So,
But here's the thing, it's good that it's happening now instead of
mhm.
on the start line in September
Yeah,
at Worlds.
yep,
Because I guess that is one of the benefits to such a long, 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 long season. Um, is that you can kind of work out, some of the kinks, some of the ebbs, and you go through the ebbs and flows, but it's like, okay, let's just do this in February instead of, when it matters, because when it matters, you're gonna be ready to fry somebody's chicken on that start line and everything. So, it's I listen, I'm a competitor too, so I definitely understand where you're coming from. And it's such a weird thing because like there's indoor worlds, there's all these big races and stuff. You're like, I gotta be at the front, and it's a different pressure when you're a professional than it is when you're in college. So
mm,
I mean I get it, but I still think when September hits and I have to put on Earth, Wind, and Fire, like you're gonna be like in the best place possible, based
yeah,
on what you're learning in February and such. What is, I don't want to say what is it like going from Boston to Colorado, but how has it been out there in Boulder? You found a coffee shop that, you really like, which is what we always love to hear. Um, you're training with On, it's cold, it's hard to breathe, but you're still balling out. You with a good surrounding team. What's it been like for you as just kind of go through the season?
yeah. I mean, right away, the weather is so much better than Boston.
Really?
Oh, I forgot because we spent the week between New Balance Grand Prix and Melrose in Boston, which was really nice for me. Like I got to see my boyfriend's there, I got to see my friends from college, and I I know where to run, I know how to use the track and all of that sort of thing. So it felt very familiar and nice, like a kind of a second home. But I thought I'd warned my teammates about how bad the Boston winter that goes until April is. Uh, and still, I was shocked. I was like, did I really do this for 4 years? Because the wind is freezing, the sun never comes out, it's always gray. One thing about Boulder is like it gets cold here, but the sun, we get 300 days of sunshine a year. And that just makes all the difference. I can walk outside, even if it's, I don't know Fahrenheit, but even if it's like, it was like negative 10 Celsius here a couple weeks ago, which is pretty cold.
Negative
Um,
10 Celsius?
yeah, so I think it's like close to zero
That's like
Fahrenheit, maybe
zero. It's
like,
like 4.
yeah. So it was really cold, right? But we walk outside, the sun is shining, the snow is sparkly, the air is dry, so it's not like that damp cold that sits in your bones. And I'm like, this isn't so bad, right? You put a good coat on and you're fine. Whereas in Boston, it's like you might not see the sun for weeks on end. So I've been loving the weather. Like I was working out in shorts a few weeks ago, so
That's
it's
crazy.
really not that bad. Yeah. But the biggest thing I think is just I really feel so validated in my choice and this opportunity to be with OAC. Like I loved college and I loved having the collegiate system and the team. And I knew that's what I wanted for my professional career. And I found it. Like it really does feel like a college team that has grown up a little bit, but not even grown up that much. You know what I mean? Like a lot of times I'm like, oh yeah, this dynamic is the same as it was on my college team in the best of ways. Yeah. And so that's just been really cool. Like I someone was asking me, one of my friends from Boston, about how the transition has been. And yeah, I moved around a lot growing up, right? So I feel like I was sort of prepared for these moves. And I said, I was like, the thing is, I got here with this instant team around me, and the older ones are willing to tell us where the good cafes are, the best spot for takeout, but also like tell us these tips for how to be successful as a professional. And so yeah, really grateful for those teammates. And we've had a lot of fun, like we do fun stuff as well, especially before the training sort of started up. We were going to concerts and yeah, hanging out at everyone's houses. Like it was a great time.
What's the and I this will be my last track question before we get to the non-track stuff. What's the best tip you've gotten so far?
Oh, honestly, I think at this point in my career, the best tip has been like, don't try to compare this year or this part of your professional career to your college one. Um, Across the board, right? Like just you're starting fresh. It's a new environment, it's a new context. You've got these new relationships to nourish. So sort of keep them separate in your mind. That's been some of the best advice, I think.
I'm curious about something because I heard this at the Bowerman and I was like, wow, I've never heard this term before. Did they give you a nickname yet?
No.
Because in college, your nickname was Old Zesty, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken. Which I was like, all right, interesting. I've never heard that
No.
before.
Nope. I've avoided a nickname so far. Um, for the better, I think. I think the longer I can avoid it, the happier I'll be. Uh, some of the guys keep saying they're gonna try and make one stick, and I'm like, good luck. Like, yeah,
Nah, a nickname is just a natural ordeal. Like if I don't know, just it's sometimes there's certain people you can't pin a nickname
yeah. And to be fair, in college, only really my coach and the older generation, like that were sort of seniors when I was a sophomore, they are the ones that called me that. My peers didn't call me that.
The honest to God's truth, and I, because I was sitting in the crowd, I'm like, so every time she walked in the bookstore, it's like, oh, Zesty, what it do? Like, is that
No, it
like,
was more like if I was chatting between reps, which I have been known to do, or I would like everyone was sort of tired and I was like a lot of energy. And like maybe I've got some really dear friends from the senior class when I was in my second year. And uh sometimes they'd get annoyed at me, I would say, because they were probably running 80 miles a week and I was running like 60 at that point. And I had a lot of energy all the time because I just wasn't that tired. And now, obviously, like as a senior in college, I realized I was like, oh my gosh, this was how I was, and that is very annoying. But they would get annoyed, and maybe when they vocalized that to Gibby, then Gibby would say, "Oh, it's just Zesty, like
oh
leave her
boy,
be." So
leave her be. That's that's wicked right there.
yeah,
Okay, that ain't a problem. What concerts have you hit up so far?
I went to Claro when I first got here, which was a like bucket list. I love her and her music, so I was so excited to go. In Denver. And then as a team, we went to Zed at Red Rocks.
Really?
I am not like a Zed fan necessarily, but I don't think anyone was actually. It was just like at a very convenient time. And tickets were a good price. And honestly, it was so much fun. Like there's a lot of popular songs that, you might have heard it on the radio or something like that. So everyone could kind of get involved. You didn't need to be a fan. And the venue is just insane. I was like, this is Colorado. Wow. So I had a great time.
Not gonna lie to you. I'm looking up who Zed is right now. I've never heard
It's
of Big
that you
Zed.
you will definitely know he's like a DJ guy. Like you'll definitely know some of his
Oh,
songs,
the
like Clarity, that song.
oh oh, that's him. Okay. He just
He's like featured on everything. He did remixes of songs that weren't even his. So it was like you didn't need to know I knew one song going into it. But then there were a lot of songs that I knew once they started playing. I was like, took me back to sort of the end of high school.
oh boy. Oh my gosh. Well,
Thanks.
Mr. Zed, I know you're listening. Congrats on your Grammy, man. Shout out to you, bro. I didn't just saw that too.
I
So
didn't know he won a Grammy
I didn't either.
this
Just
year.
look. Yeah, like 4 days
What?
ago.
Wow.
Uh so or however long ago the Grammys. Well, it says congrats on your win. So I'm assuming it was the Grammys.
Congrats, Zed.
So, congrats to you, brother. Keep doing it. Sponsor Lactic Acid if you want to. Uh, that's awesome. Um, I remember reading an article. You were saying like you wanted to find ways to keep busy as a pro, compared to, what you were doing in college. Did you start or find that book club yet?
You'll never guess. I actually just reached out to a girl about it this morning. I for ages couldn't find any, and like everything I looked up on Facebook or like through the bookstore, I was like, I just know there's gonna be a huge generational divide between me and all the other book club members. And I have nothing against mothers. Like my mom's in a book club and she loves it, or she might have just quit actually, but she did love it for a while. It was taking up a lot of time. But that's just not what I was looking for in the book club scene. But then I was introduced, I had a friend visit a few weeks ago now, and while he was here, we got a meal with a mutual friend or like one of his friends that I'd never met. She was like, I'm in this book club and it's all people our age, and do you want to join? And I was like, you don't have any idea what you've just done for me. Like you've this is a dream of mine that I've vocalized and you've just made it happen. So I missed the there was a meeting when I was in Boston that I had to miss, but I just texted her to see if the new book has been decided for next month. So I'm on my book club journey. I'll keep you updated. I'm very excited.
Hey, okay. Like, what is the book that you want your club to read?
Oh my gosh, that's such a hard question. Um, the last book that I read that I was like, so just I loved, and there'd be a lot to talk about, I think, is called Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingsolver. So I don't know how their process works because I haven't actually met any people in the club yet, but how they decide, but that would be a suggestion of mine. Um, yeah,
People in the book club don't listen to this until like the next meeting.
yeah,
So,
or till I've like gone to a few, so I don't know. I know the people in there, and like they're not like who's this new person that just thinks that she can give us the new book next month.
yes, or just skip this part, and then go to the next part. So let's get off this subject before we all get in trouble. Please don't come for lactic acid. We love your reading is amazing. Um, do you ever notice like maybe you read books that you read when you were younger and you reread them again? You find something new, and same thing with like television shows. Like you'll read it again, you'll watch it again, and it's like, I didn't catch that when I was younger, or I didn't catch that, or like, wow, this means that. Do you ever notice that?
Shows and movies, definitely. Books, I don't remember the last time I reread a book. My
That's fair.
sister and I argue about this a lot because she loves to reread books for that reason. And that's what she keeps telling me. She's like, Maya, you got to read it again. Like, it'll be so different. But I'm like, I've got a big stack of books in my room right now waiting for me. I'm like, I can't look back.
But I can't, I don't have time. Like that's just that's in the rearview
Life
mirror.
is short. There are many books.
There are many books. No is crazy because this is stupid. I One of my favorite books of all time is a book called Holes by
Okay.
Luis Suarez. It was a movie on Disney back in the day.
I think I've read that.
Yes, that is my favorite book of all time.
Yeah.
Uh, and stuff. I don't know why. I just love that dang book. But then obviously the movie came out. And then I don't know, it's just like I understand more of what the author was going for in that book in that time
Mm.
period. And then I just saw something different and then I compared it. This is really stupid. I was rewatching SpongeBob and I was rewatching a show called you this is way before your time. I'm a 90s kid. It was a show called Author.
Okay.
Um And they used to say some unhinged stuff on that show. I'm like, how
Yeah.
did that, like, how in God's name did that pass? Like on
Yeah, like
SpongeBob?
it would never be aired today.
No, like on SpongeBob, they were like breaking into somebody's house, going through like Mr. Krabs' mom's like stuff. And I was like, oh, that is, or Plankton. I don't know. I guess he's a sea urchin of him just roasting an entire family. I was like, oh my gosh, like I that is amazing how some of the stuff and it's just unique to me, like the things that you see. And maybe I need to be like you. Maybe I just need to stop watching. And I don't really watch a lot of television, but maybe I just need to just look at all the new stuff, even though some of the new stuff depresses me.
Keep going. Yeah, some
I
of the new TV is like a bit depressing.
All of the new TV is a bit depressing. I do need to read another book. I just haven't decided like which one. I don't know. There's nothing that has piqued my attention just yet. See, because I
This my book club pick, Demon Copperhead. It's a beautiful. I was sobbing at the end. It's like,
really
yeah. So that's
okay.
my rack.
I don't know if I'm a demon copperhead kind of brother, but I'm willing to open up the horizons. Listen, it may be a good book. It may, I don't know. I think as a writer, sometimes reading books kind of helps you with that. So listen, I'm not gonna knock it. I just may
Yeah.
have to try it. Where did
Yeah.
this unique sense of fashion come from? Because you're really big into fashion, and everything. Like literally, I always say, who was the fashion designer on Disney Channel back in the day? I think it was That's So Raven or something like that, or something like
Uh-huh.
that. Like you are the fashion designer when it comes to the ordeal. You were like the president or something of a fashion club or magazine,
Briefly. You
briefly.
wouldn't know it now. I'm wearing my grandma knitted this sweater. It's my fave, and I've got my little star pimple patch on. I don't know. I like clothes a lot. I always like in school, I never went to class in athletic clothing ever. Like, even if I was late, I would put on an outfit. And that's actually been a hard part about the pro transition. Like, I just don't do anything, like I go to training in the morning, come back and make lunch, I have a nap. Maybe I've got another run in the evening, or I've got treatment or something. Then I make dinner and go to bed. So I'm like, I'm not putting an outfit on for my house. Like that's too much for me, even for me. But I will say every time I get the opportunity, I like try to dress up, maybe more than is appropriate for the occasion. But I'm like, I just don't have that many to dress up for. So um
That's that's
yeah.
crazy. If I say, hey, let's go to Chick-fil-A and you show up in like a maxi dress or something crazy like
Yes, that's
that.
exactly my energy.
I'm not listening. Sometimes you have to step out and show out. Like that's just kind of the way life goes and everything.
And it's not for anyone else. So I'm like, okay, if they've got a problem with it, they can just have that problem. Like
Yeah, listen, eat your
I'm feeling
chicken.
happy about it.
Yes, listen, eat your little chicken in your running shorts and everything. We're gonna look good, we're gonna eat good, and we're gonna feel good. I,
Yeah.
I'm kind of with you on that. I'm very basic and everything. Somebody told me, and at first I was like, I don't know if I should be offended by this, but then I wear it as a badge of honor. Somebody told me this in college. They say you dress like you could step out on the basketball court and drop 30 at any time. And I was like, ooh, okay, well.
You've got a signature style then.
I have a signature style that keeps getting adjusted and everything. But I like wearing suits and everything like that. I love wearing suits. Um, I'm not paying $10,000 for a Gucci belt, or anything like that, but I'm cool with what I have. But it's like when there's an occasion to dress like whether it's going to an award ceremony or going to dinner, or hanging out with friends, or for us in Florida when it's cold. When no, it was cold. Listen, I don't care what nobody says, it was cold. Um, you got to show up
Yeah,
because you just don't have that window of opportunity to like, you know, do what no, show what you got and as far
yeah,
as what's in your closet. So I'm with you 1,000% on that.
yeah. And it's definitely been hard. The pro also just sometimes you don't have time, right? Like sometimes I'm like, okay, I actually don't have time to spend 25 minutes putting an outfit together because I need to eat lunch or I need to go get coffee before I have a caffeine withdrawal. And then that's life. I'm not like married to always like I would say I like putting together outfits, but I'm not one of those people who like has to step out of the house looking put together. Like if I'm stepping out of the house in sweats, that's just what it's going to be. But if I'm putting effort into it, it will be nice and cute.
My mom always says you wear your clothes, you don't let your clothes wear you,
Yes,
basically.
there's got to be I like that. There's got to be intention. As long as it's intentional, not an issue.
And everything. And then like I feel like you would have thrived in the 90s and
Yeah, I
stuff.
also, well, I love like my Pinterest right now is a lot of 90s outfits. So I also feel that way.
Yeah, the 90s maybe things got a little weird in the early 2000s. So I don't
Y2K, yeah, it has its moments, but a lot of times I'm like, we're trying to make this a thing and it just doesn't need to be.
what's like the latest fashion trend and then we'll do one more track related thing and then we'll do the would you rather. I hope you got the questions ready, but what's like one trend that's going on now that you're like, y'all need to leave this alone, like
Oh,
bury it?
the comeback of skinny jeans. That's one of those Y2K things where I'm like, people are starting, I'm seeing online, like, oh, we can make skinny jeans a thing again. Like, I don't know why,
Really?
personally.
I did not know that skinny jeans were making a comeback.
Yeah, they are. It's on the cusp. So give it a couple of months and they're gonna be like in Urban Outfitters. And
My question to anybody listening, not just Maya, who is responsible for bringing these back? Because listen, some people have some skinny jeans on. That I'm like, this may cut some circulation
yeah,
off. Because like the true story on this is a true story. I was sure this was 10 years ago. It is 2025. This is about 10, 13, between 10 and 13 years ago. I was going to a store. It's called J.C. Penney's. And I was looking for jeans. And so back then they had like 30, and they probably still do. They have like 32 different styles of jeans.
yeah.
And somebody put the skinny jeans in the section that I was supposed to, that I usually get the jeans that I wear. And this is why you have to read before you pick up. I tried to put them things on. Listen, that was a problem. I was I was in pain. It was like putting on Normatec boots. Like
Oh,
it was it was so tight. I was like,
oh,
how,
yeah.
how
I'm like, these things are uncomfortable. I don't really see the vision of like the outfit. Yeah. Leave them in the past. They had their
leave.
moment. They're over.
Listen, we talked about it with books. You got to be focused ahead. It's so disrespectful to
And
be in
I
the
like a
past.
throwback fashion moment, but there's some other ones that are coming back that I'm here for, like capris, like 3/4 length, tight little pants. Like I have a really cute pair of sort of plaid ones that I think are very fun. Kind of from the same era as skinny jeans, but skinny jeans one I can't. You're never gonna see me purchasing another pair. Like I had that when I was like what 12. I don't need to have that again.
Might as well be wearing sweats or
Yeah, or leggings,
or
which
leggings.
I'm also not a fan of, but that's
Really?
a whole other topic.
Okay, because yeah, they're gonna come after you for them leggings and stuff like that. I see the one that is funny to me, jorts are making a comeback.
I love my jorts.
Um I'm not a jort brother myself. Um
My siblings and I have matching jorts, and there are arguments about who got
really.
them first. It's not me. I'm definitely like the least fashion forward of my siblings. Maybe I'll say that. Like
Really?
my siblings both had them first. I take a lot of clothes from my little sister.
Okay. Listen, that's the perk of being a big sister. What's
Yeah,
mine is yours.
it's
And
true.
hey, you can wear
Whether you know
listen,
I put it in my suitcase or not.
no, no. Listen, just don't look until I land in another
She
land
does the
somewhere
same
else.
thing. Like whatever I leave at home, she thinks is fair game. So
Nah, you see, I have to put counter proctors on my stuff. Um, there's gonna be a consequence if you touch something of mine. I'm close. Well, I'm my only child, so it's thank God it's not an issue. But I just food. Listen, if I brought it home, I intend to eat it. Like, don't, don't. like it's like it's an issue. Let me ask you this, and then we're gonna do some would you rather. What excites you the most about this upcoming season?
yeah. Um, I think getting to a place where I just am enjoying the racing. And like I don't think I'm quite there yet, but I do think in college, especially my last year, there was a lot of external pressure and expectation. And like how I dealt with that is another conversation, right? But it's just like whether I liked it or not, it was there. And there were a lot of people paying attention, like other collegiate athletes as well, paying attention to what I was doing. And I definitely felt like I couldn't really have a misstep. Like there wasn't really room for error. It was like you just have to keep performing because this is what's expected of you. And if you don't, people are going to talk about it. And like definitely I needed to be better at sort of blocking that out because that's not my problem. But that's what I struggled with last year. Um, Whereas the best part about being pro is like there's a little more separation between what I'm doing and my identity. I think it's like running is just something I do. Like it's my job, but it's not. It, in college, it was more like I'm devoting 20 plus hours a week to this thing. It's not my job. I'm also a student, but then it just became sort of one like Maya the runner as this very specific identity. Whereas now I find it easier to separate it. It's like this is what's paying the bills, and like it's something I love. It's my passion, and I'm lucky enough and have this amazing opportunity to turn that also into my career. So I just hope that I can get to a place where I do have all these races. They're not championship races. They're not like scoring points for my team. They're not where I need to try and run a qualifying time. And they're just races. Like that's what this past weekend was. Um, and so I'm excited about the day where I can wake up and see it just as that. And like racing is so fun, you know, like it's like that's why people love it. It's that feeling when you're a kid and you're just playing tag with your friends or you're trying to get to the flag or the other person first, right? Um, yeah. So that's what I'm working towards. And when I get there, that's what I'm looking forward to in this season.
I'm with it. And many of y'all go see this as the preview clip because you preached the word there. And before I get off, I just got to say this. You were so right about the comparison culture is one of the worst things to happen in this world
Mm,
because everybody, I saw this as a high school when I was coaching high school athletes. I got to be like, I was like, no, if you were supposed to be like this person, the Lord would have made you that person. You are your own person and you don't need to compare. What Maya's doing over at Harvard ain't got nothing to do with what you're doing over at another school and stuff. And I think as a society, and it's gone on this way, there's this unnecessary external pressure because nobody really knows your journey, but you make
mm-mm,
assumptions as to what the journey is, and then you're
mm-hmm,
saying, I need to be like X, Y, Z because she doing her thing, and you are failing because you're not living up to the standard in which she set. But nobody's asking, nobody knows your journey. Nobody knows the day to day. Nobody, even the people there are people in your corner that know it better than anybody else, but you are the only one that knows it and lives it. And
mm,
so for people to put that pressure that, all right, she got to live up to the standard, and if she fails, then listen, hey, when you're chasing greatness, there's a standard. That's just the way it is. When you are great,
Hmm.
there's a standard. But to try to pin everybody in it, that's why I hate these debates. People are like, who's the GOAT, LeBron or Michael Jordan? Like they're both good.
Yeah. And I think like I also think like in a lot of ways that has been a lot better in the pro world than it was in college. I think for so many reasons. I think a lot of the people that continue on into professional running, there is sort of this faith in what they're doing that I think it's harder to have as a collegiate, right? And it's like it's almost like in some ways and what you're doing in your corner of the world to make your career how it is that you want is all within your control in a way that it's not in college. Um, because you have this team and you have these other obligations. And don't get me wrong, that was the best part of it. Like uh, one of the losses this year was not having cross country. I loved that season, and I loved the idea that you were racing for way more than yourself or your own results. Um, but the flip side of it is that I do think in the pro world, people are just far more willing to sort of keep their head down, focus on the next day of training, and not worry too much about what that other athlete is doing. In college, that was always a battle. I think not just for me, I think for a lot of people. So um, I'm happy to be sort of moving away from that mindset.
And I hope a lot of people can latch on to it. Um, really in high school.
Mm,
Like don't bring that to and because you see it in high school level too. Like
yeah,
let's just I don't know. I think being the best version of yourself, creating a standard of excellence for yourself that you have to live up to should always be the thing that's in focus and let everybody else run their race.
yeah,
And basically and stop trying to pin people to, I don't know. Like you said, it's so loaded and there's so and social media doesn't help
social media is that's the worst part of it.
and stuff because it's just like you have all these social media accounts. You don't want to have to take a 6 month hiatus just to ignore and all that stuff. It's like, okay, well, she didn't do well. Something's wrong. No, ain't nothing wrong. The race was hard. There's just a bunch of people in the race. It just may not be your day, but it does not mean
Yeah,
that you're still not that person.
no, exactly. And the reality is like one person crosses the line first and everybody else doesn't. And that's not like if I was only running, don't get me wrong, I want to win things. Like I want to win big things. And like I fully intend to hopefully be a global medalist by the end of my career, right? But it's like if I was only in the sport to win every single race, it would be so boring. Like the whole point
Yeah.
is you try to win, and sometimes it happens, and sometimes it doesn't, and that's what makes it exciting, and that's why you've got skin in the game.
Yeah.
And so I also think something like this about this season. I don't know if this is really an answer to that same question, but like I want to get better at sort of being able to be open about what my goals are, even if they don't happen. Because I think that's the other thing in college. I really struggled to like set goals that were both realistic and vulnerable. Like often I just set goals that I sort of knew were achievable. Um, Whereas now I'm hoping to be a little better at saying, like, this is a really risky thing to say I'm going to be able to do, and maybe I won't do it, but it's possible and it's never going to happen if I don't say it. So, yeah.
I think somebody told me this on a plane. I don't make New Year's resolutions. I think what you would wait a period of time to do, you should be doing now as far
Mm,
as, bettering yourself because you don't know if you're going to live to see tomorrow. But there is a guy, and sir, I hope you're listening to this. I know you're not. I forgot your name too, and I know you forgot mine. But he asked, you have any New Year's resolutions? I said, no, sir, I don't do that. He said, me neither. He said, I make New Year's plans
mm,
because if you don't get to it this year, you plan again to do it next year
yeah. I love that.
and stuff. And
Yeah.
so that's what you have. You have plans. You have plans. And if you don't get those plans this year, doggone it, you're gonna get it next year. And if you
Yep.
don't get it
Or the
next
one
year,
after that.
or the one after that, but those plans are going to be fulfilled and
Yeah.
stuff. So mine's here to tell you she got plans and forget everybody who's in the way of those plans because she's coming for that number one spot.
Yeah.
You have survived the interrogation process. Now we are on to the last segment down the home stretch, which is our Would You Rather series. Shout out to my good friend Katie Izzo, who inspired that. She had a whole book, and so she threw some at me. So I'm gonna be nice. I just want you to give me two, and then I'm gonna throw two back at you.
Oh, I've got to start. Okay. I have
Do you want me to
one.
start? Okay, let's do
I
one.
can start with my one. How we flip flop?
Let's do that. Let's do that.
Okay.
Let's do that.
My first is I was just discussing this with someone. I was like, I feel like people are either like mountain or beach. So would you rather spend the rest of your life in a mountain with no ocean? I mean, I know you're from Orlando, so maybe, or by the beach. I don't
In a
actually know how far
mountain.
away Orlando is from the beach.
It's not far at all. I hate the beach. And I know that's sacrilegious living in Florida. I will stand 10 to. I hate the beach. I've told this story 1,000 times. The last time I went to the beach was in 2012 when I was in the water with a shark. And I've never ran. Yes, I thought it was a dolphin. Some kid said that's not a dolphin, that's a hammerhead, and I got my happy tail.
Hammerheads are amazing. It's like
Okay,
bucket list to see one
okay, well, let me
for
tell
me.
you something as one that's been about 20 feet from one. You need to, it's not as amazing as you think. Because that because they are faster than I gave them anticipation for. I ain't never ran as
Uh-uh.
fast as that in my life. That kid told me what that was. And kid, you're gonna do big things in the science community and in oceans and all that stuff. Because Lord have mercy, no, I'm not messing. No, no, no. No, so I love the mountains. I've been to Colorado. Colorado is one of my favorite places in this earth, Breckenridge. Love the mountains. If the beach is like the end of the no, I ain't doing no beach. Nope,
Wow.
nope. You live on listen. You live on the beach, you get hit with a hurricane, and then all that stuff is in the water. No, no, I'm good. I are you a beach? Are you beach or mountain?
I'm like so far beach that it's like I actually had a split second where I was like, am I gonna move to a place that is this far from the ocean for the next however many years of my life? Um, if it wasn't like the perfect place to run and train otherwise, it would have been a bigger deal breaker for me.
I I apologize if I offended you
No,
because I saw.
not at all. My whole family is beach except for my brother. He's definitely mountain. But yeah, that's why I always think of it because I'm like, people somehow always have strong feelings one way or the other. So,
I strongly don't like the beach. Um, Now the food on the beach is good. Don't get it twisted and stuff like that. But people like, oh, the sound of the waves. No, I'll turn my fan on and I don't hear anything.
oh my gosh.
Uh, so wow, I guess I was holding that in because I answered that question. I answer that question often, but tonight I guess it was time for me to pop off. Shout out to all the people who live on the beach and love the beach. God bless you. I'm not in that number. Let me ask you this. Are you familiar with various book festivals around the world?
No.
Okay. So if one of the biggest book festivals is in Scotland, it is the Edinburgh International Book Festival.
Okay.
And then there's the Frankfurt Book Fair that's in Germany.
Mhm.
Would you rather go to one of those book fairs or go to Fashion Week in Paris?
Fashion Week in Paris.
Yeah.
That's not, yeah, that's not even a question. Because I think the book fairs would be very fun, but Fashion Week, you'd get to dress up as well. Like, usually, if you're going to the show, you've got access to those clothes, at least for the day. Like, yeah, Fashion Week in
On,
Paris for sure.
we have to make that, On has to make that happen for you.
Yeah.
That has to,
anyone at on, if you're listening, that's my dream.
yes, please just and find a way to put Maya in that. Just show up with some cloud monsters
Yeah,
on,
I will wear monsters on the runway, or I'll wear monsters runway side, like looking at the runway. I love
yes,
those
or
shoes. Like, they're my favorite. They're my go-to everyday shoes. I'm happy to keep them on for a few more hours.
Yeah, put them Cobb Monster twos because we know as far as being comfortable on their feet, it's gonna be more comfortable than typically what the people have on their feet walking down the
Yes.
runway
Yes.
and stuff. Yeah, so I kind of figured it would be that. Do you have one more?
Yeah, this is a classic. Like, I feel like this is when my brother asks me, like, okay, would you rather, wait, there's two. Which one should I do?
You do them
Because one I know
both.
the answer to. Okay, no movies for the rest of your life or no music?
Oh no. Ooh. Oh, no movies. This is easy.
Okay, I kind of thought it was an easy one. That's why I was like hesitating because I feel like I would be the same.
Yeah. I my music's too valuable to me.
I'm also just like I can get what I get from movies and TV shows, maybe like from books or a show or something like
Exactly.
that.
Because
Music,
half of them are based on books.
yeah, that's true. Okay, maybe that was like an easy one.
Okay. What was the second one? I'm curious.
The second one was one my brother always asked me, which is like, what? It's like, what sense would you give up? But it's like, would you rather? It's either like, would you rather like not be able to smell or not be able to taste or something like that? It's like one of those silly ones.
Okay, I can't compete with that. So I have one that you're gonna hate me for.
Okay.
Um, so let me just say in advance, thank you for coming on the show.
Oh no.
Um, would you rather eat burgers or sushi for the rest of your life?
Oh my gosh. Okay. I actually have thought about this before. I think if it was just one for the rest of my life, I have to say sushi because there's more variation.
That's fair.
You know what I mean? I'm like,
Ah,
burgers would get pretty, like, imagine burgers day. I love burgers, but day in, day out, you're going to get so overwhelmed by how rich that food is that it's just going to be like, I can't see another bun. Whereas sushi, I think you could do like different kinds of fish. You could do avocado. You could do chicken if you're into that.
chicken sushi? Is that a
People
thing?
do like it, like the teriyaki. It's like it's never my order, but I'm just thinking, right, for
That's fair.
every single day for the rest of my life.
But you could do that with burgers too. So you could have like a lettuce wrap in a burger, or you can have a patty. Okay, you win. Um, yes, never. The more I started talking, the more I was like, this. Okay,
That answer, yeah, no,
okay.
it has to be sushi.
Bonus question, and then the last question would be the last one. It's not a would you rather. Bonus question: would you rather be the owner of a coffee shop,
Uh-huh.
a small town library?
Coffee shop. I think when I retire, I'm a city girl.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I don't know, like my, where my family lives, like it's not a huge city in Wellington. It's like 300,000, but it's definitely a city.
Yeah, that's a decent like size city. Yeah,
Yeah,
I could definitely
I
see
think
that.
I'm probably coffee shop. Although I think it would be more fun to be a small town library
Yeah, I could
and
see
like
that.
decide what books to stock. All of that sounds more fun. I just think geographically speaking, it has to be the coffee shop.
Last question is the most important question that you'll answer as my light went off. Why does kindness matter to you?
Why does kindness matter to me? Okay, I don't want to answer right away. I got to think about it.
Okay, take your time.
Okay, I'll go back to running for a second, but it'll circle up and make sense. I just think like I've been thinking a lot. I mean, I thought a lot about it when I was first deciding whether to keep running. Like sort of why I wanted to and what was apart from just the fact that I love it and like it was an option, like why do I actually want to do this, right? Um and honestly, like I think when I think back on my time in college, for example, the thing that I remember most is not the actual like running part, but it definitely is those relationships that I made. And a lot of them were because of what we were doing together, running. But I think for me, kindness has to be the basis of a relationship. And so I think that's why it's important. It's like those are the people, it's like such a cliche saying, like it's all about the people, but it's true. Um, that is what makes the world go round, our individual relationships with others. And you can't do that unless you've got some kindness. Otherwise, I mean, you can, it's just going to suck.
Yeah.
So
Basically, if you don't want to suck, be kind. That's basically that's the
that's basically it. But no, yeah, I really do think that this sport, the relationships I've been able to have through the sport are profound. And I think they start with small acts of kindness, like saying good job after the race.
yeah.
As simple as that.
Honestly, it's so funny to see how far that goes. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
or sometimes if I'm in the mix zone, I'll give a fist pump to some of the runners. Some of the runners I may not like know their name off the top of my head, but like I remember it's like, hey dog, good job, partner. Like
Yeah.
whatever the case might be. So share kindness, spread kindness. It will make this crazy world we live in a better place.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on Lactic Acid and just balling out on the podcast like you do in day to day. If people want to kind of follow your journey, where can they find you on social media?
Just Instagram, Maia.Ramsden. Yeah, it's mostly running stuff now. I'm figuring out how to, you know, share everything I care about on there. But
Hey, that's definitely a work in progress for everybody because it's hard, and such. But listen, follow Maya. She's gonna do great things. Appreciate you coming on the show. Appreciate everybody listening. Love, peace, and chicken grease, and we will catch you next time.
thank you so much for having me on.